Thanks so much for joining us. This is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and many online. Today is our online awakening panel. Our panels have themes. Today's panel is navigating our subconscious. There will be 8 of us on the panel tonight that will introduce ourselves and talk about the theme, and then we'll be answering questions from the audience. We've got 5 of us here right now, so we're going to start with 5 of us, and I'll tell you who the others are that are coming. So you might want to think about what question you're going to ask us. It is free to be here to listen and learn. It's a great opportunity to practice opening your intuition. You might have thoughts coming through even now as we talk about navigating our subconscious. And yeah, so, and it's a small price to ask a question of the panel if you'd like to do that. It can be about the theme. It can be about anything. You'll hear that we practice so many different things. We practice in so many different ways. We can address all kinds of different topics and questions. All right, so we've each got a couple minutes to describe, who you are and what you do. And I don't want to say, Sharon, do you want to go first this time? We go Sharon and then Christina. All right, great. Go ahead, take your time. Got a couple minutes.
Great. My name is Sharon Hockenberry, and I am a Reiki master, a hypnotist, and I'm a breakthrough life coach. I've been in the health and wellness field for over 30 years. I am passionate about helping women thrive from the inside out. I am passionate about helping women reconstruct their spirituality after deconstructing their religion. And I love to teach people how to listen to their intuition, trust their innermost being, and believe that the divine always has their back.
Great, great. And for those people that are watching online later, what is your website and how can they reach you? And feel free to tell us about your special and all those things.
Okay, great. You can reach me at www.sharonmaureen.com. And I have a free masterclass coming up on June 6th at noon. And I'm going to be talking about how to reconnect with your intuition, again, especially after deconstructing a religious background. And then just to remind you that you've got this and that God has your back. You can find me on Facebook at Sharon Maureen. Also, you can find me at Twin Peaks Nutrition and Wellness. I own a wellness boutique, and you can reach me through there. And you can reach me at twinpeaksnw.com. So lots of places, and just Google me, Sharon Maureen, you'll find me.
Great. Thanks so much, Sharon Maureen.
Oh, I guess my specials. So it's a free masterclass and 50% off of hypnotherapy session. And I will say that hypnotherapy, in my judgment, is a beautiful way to tap into the subconscious.
It's great. It's great. Yeah. So we'll do a round where we come back and we talk more about the theme too. So yeah, that's perfect. All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone that's here. All right. Great. Christina's next, and then she'll have Angie and then Anissa.
All right, my name is Christina of Crystal Quartz Metaphysical Shop, also dubbed the Celestial Mystic. I have the great responsibility of being a multidimensional cosmic being, which I gladly represent. I do multidimensional soul intuitive readings where I tap into your different dimensional selves, ancestors, your guides, and give you a holistic approach to any type of situation that you might be dealing with. On top of that, I also do cosmic consultations. So basically this day and age, with a lot of the things happening on the different realms, a lot of people are awakening up to them gifts, to their spiritual awakening, and they have questions, and they're dealing with situations where possibly they're seeing people and things and beings in their rooms, things in the sky, things in their dreams, and they need someone to talk to. I am the person here to assist people with conversations like that, because obviously you can't just walk around having that type of conversation with just anyone. On top of that, I also do spiritual authenticity coaching. So once again, people are waking up to their true selves. They want to find what path they should be on. Some people are breaking free of religion and now they need to know what to do. Mainly for Indigenous, Black, Brown people, they're breaking away from Christianity and they want to get back to their cultural roots. I am a practitioner of Lukumi, which most people know as Santeria. So I am open to assisting people with finding any African traditional religions that fit with their culture, that what they, their family used to do before religion came along. I am running a special with 15% off for a 60-minute reading. Or a 45-minute cosmic consult. All you have to do is put in MeWe Fair 23 on my website, which is Crystal Quartz, KRYSTAQUARTZ.com. Put it there with one of the pricings and you'll get your percentage off. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. The names are both the same for Crystal Quartz, and you can find me and see all the wonderful things that I talk about, encompassing a holistic approach to your spiritual awakening.
Great, thanks so much. Angie's next.
Hi, I'm Angie, and I am a law of attraction coach and a spirit energy guide. And my business is Universal Restorative Energy. So you can Google Universal Restorative Energy. My special is a 20-minute free consultation. And I love that everyone keeps saying waking up, because why I'm here is to remind people that we are in this experience, and in this experience through law of attraction, we can create, and we are meant to create. We are meant to feel the joy of the well-being of who we are and the support of the universe. And we get mired into the world and all of the problems with it, and we forget why we're actually here. So I'm here to help people understand and remember that we create constantly through law of attraction, and connect people into their spirit, because once you connect people into your spirit, it no longer is here, but it's here. And we are meant to be this way. And also this religion thing, I'm glad we talked about it, because I have a first Sunday of every month is exactly called Breaking Free from Religion, because I too broke free from it and experienced the world in a whole new way. And I am so powerful, and I'm so happy and joyful and grateful. And I just want to help everybody get to this path, because everybody can get here, not because you're supposed to, but because we are meant to. And so I am really excited to be here. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Angie. Anissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anissa Jade, and I do intuitive imagery readings. But before I talk a little bit about that, I'll just let you know a little bit more about me. When I was younger, I told my mother that I talked to angels and I was quite spiritual. But then with dealing with my own health issues, chronic illnesses, and conforming to society, I kind of lost track of spirituality and the metaphysical world. I always was an observer, though, and would consult tarot readers, mediums, things like that. But I never really tapped into my own gifts until recently. So now I do intuitive imagery reading, where I connect to your energy and I receive vivid images. And from those images, I interpret them and provide meaning for you. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and I love the collaboration that occurs with a reading. And it would be my honor and greatest service to help you with any questions you have tonight. And I can be found at AnissaJade.com or Anissa Jade Meta on Instagram.
Great, thanks so much. And I know you've done artistic expression all your life too, so of course your messages come in as images. Totally great. Oh, and let's see. So the other practitioners that are coming, they've all been held up for different reasons, and they are all coming. We have DoveLight Oracle, who does angelic soul frequency readings, past life regression, ancestral healing, shamanism, energy and sound healing. She will be here soon, navigating traffic. And then we have Evangelia Vensel, who does energy psychology, subconscious reprogramming, trauma release, kinesiology, energy healing, intuitive guidance, and non-toxic beauty products. And we have Aylin Llona, who does transformative energy work with chakras, etheric, and astral bodies. So they will all be joining us sometime in the next half hour or so. And then I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, read your soul. Eyes are the window to the soul. And I answer questions about your soul, purpose. It can be about your career path and how to navigate and change your career path to be in more alignment with your purpose. If you show me photos of people that you're in relationship with already, be it business or romance, I can talk about them and talk about your relationship so that you better understand what's happening and why, and give you suggestions about what you can do differently with them, how you can better honor them, how you can better honor yourself in the connection. And sometimes it's connecting with other people for part of what you're doing with them. Sometimes someone else can have more natural skill at that, for example, and then you eliminate that tension because you're not trying to get something that doesn't work between the two of you. And I love to recommend who to connect with for whatever it is you're up to, be it someone new you want to hire, or a new partner in your business, or romance. I particularly love romantic matchmaking. I do conscious online dating because there are so many eyes I can go looking through to help you find a soulmate. I believe that we have lots of soulmates or people with similar eyes, similar souls. And I love to connect people like that together. So I help you better do online dating in a way that represents who you are. So your soul and your purpose are really out there on your profile. And then we go find people that have similar eyes that are a great match. You can find out more about what I do at intuitiveeyereading.com or matchmakingsoulmates.com. And my special is to come to one of the, I have drop-in dating coaching and matchmaking events. You're welcome to come to one of those for free. And I also have 20 minutes where you can do a kind of a mini session with me and learn more about me and what I do and get a sense of how my work might be support to you. I give you some samples and things like that. All right. Well, so that's all of us on the panel. I know I have to put my information on the chat too. I'll put Everlow practitioners in again. Well, let's talk a little about the theme while we're waiting for the other practitioners to come too. And I should say, if you want to ask a question today, for those of you in the audience, if you know you want to ask a question, we do request that you pay first. Let us know that you've paid and we will get you right in line. I'll just paste the info here again. And yeah, so we can talk about anything. And in particular today, we really want to talk about navigating our subconscious. So we could start with you, Sharon, Maureen, if you want, or we could start anywhere today. Just go ahead and say you got a minute or so, a couple minutes to say a bit about the theme. It might be how it shows up in your work or about this in general, like what is the subconscious? Just all those kinds of things. Great.
Well, the way I like to look at the subconscious is a little secret place hidden in your very essence. And some people say mind. I believe the very essence. I believe every cell of your body, it has the subconscious in it. And it's floating around and it comes forth when needed and often suppressed for safety. And so when we have questions about behaviors, patterns, beliefs, and we cannot quite understand why or where to go next, often the secret is floating around in that subconscious, in the cellular memory, not just in the brain, like was once thought that, oh, the subconscious is the brain. I don't believe that. I believe every cell of the body is the subconscious. And so I believe that it is floating around and it can be accessed as needed. And sometimes we have to decide to access it when we want to overcome certain blockages, when we feel stuck. And as a breakthrough coach, oftentimes when people come in to see me, they have a limiting belief. They have something that is, they just don't understand. And I could tell lots of stories about that, but I won't for now. And I use hypnosis to help them drop down and bypass the conscious mind, which is basically like a wall. And that's what we put forth, the conscious mind, pretty much as we go about life. And then our reactions are the subconscious. So that's what I know about it. I love helping people tap in. And I know in my own life of, moving into my 60s now, even now I'm discovering behaviors, beliefs, patterns. And I ask myself, where did that come from? And why do I believe that? And why is this habit so hard for me to overcome? Or why am I so drawn to this? And by tapping into my subconscious, the answers reveal. And many times I seek out help, practitioners, spiritual leaders. I've talked to Laureli that helped me uncover that, because I don't want to do it myself, or I can't do it myself. And that is the beauty of community, is that we each have lights to shine, and each of us can help each other shine a little brightly and fulfill our purpose and destiny by tapping into our subconscious.
Yes, great. Thank you. All right, we go in the same order. Christina, if you feel ready.
Sure. um, Subconscious. So how I view the subconscious is like a ever recording data collection center. Literally from the day you were born, that vessel is always just being filled up with all the information that is occurring around you, regardless if you're paying attention to it or not. Your subconscious is. It's literally absorbing everything around you. And when that occurs, it literally lays out the patterns of how you react to things throughout your life. Once again, regardless if you're aware to it or not. But also in that subconscious, there's major information that you can tap into to enhance yourself and grow yourself once you bring those things in your subconscious into your conscious state. And one of the things that I love to share with clients on how to help them understand why things are occurring in their life the way it is, why they keep going through these same cyclical patterns, is doing a certain type of meditation where it sends you inward. I always say anytime you do any type of meditation where it sends you downstairs, down any type of spiral, downward period, it is sending you into your subconscious and taking you into a place that unfortunately sometimes has barriers in place that will try to keep you from getting into that knowledge, because it is knowledge, it's vast knowledge that's always collecting. So anytime that you're doing a meditation or you're in a dream and you're going down steps into darkness, you are literally going into your subconscious. And sometimes people get scared of that because they might encounter quote unquote monsters or something that's scary or some type of sense of fear that prevents them from going further into that subconscious level. Those things are in place for the simple fact that, once again, it's just literally a vessel full of information that can change your life. And sometimes, the body and the mind wants to function in ego, and it wants to stay on the path that it's going. So it will put things in place so you won't go down in there and figure out what's really going on and fix some of the patterns and things that you're going through. Because once again, the ego, the mind wants to be the ruler here, but really it's not. It's your subconscious. So when you find different techniques like shadow work, meditations, pay attention to your dreams and things like that, you can tap into the knowledge that you have literally within yourself to start changing a lot of the outward things that are going on in your life.
Great, great. Thank you. All right, Angie.
Okay, subconscious. I feel like we all like subconscious. Let's start with the definition. So our conscious, what we're aware of right now when I'm speaking to you, I'm conscious of you, but everything around me is my subconscious. And it's always, like she said, like Christina said, it's taking in data, constantly taking in data. And I love the fact that we all have different ideas on how to get into our subconscious, because for me, I actually do the opposite, and I'm able to, when there's times, because the subconscious is constantly happening, we can think that we are on one path, but everything else is cutting into our vibration and is creating beliefs, and we're hearing things, and pretty soon we're beginning to have beliefs and patterns that we didn't really consciously make, because things around us, people around us, subconsciously, we are going into the same vibration. And so in order to break that, a lot of times, instead, I go back into a meditative state and I actually raise my vibration, and I'm able to then see everything kind of split out as what's the word I'm looking for? things are able to become singular in how it is, and I'm able to see everything around me. And so I do it in a place of a raised vibration where I can actually intuitively see what's happening, see everything that happened around that situation, so that I can come to my own belief and my own pattern. Because many times when we are stuck in these belief and patterns, it is often not what we are consciously choosing, but what we have subconsciously attached ourselves to and are now creating with that. So we have a lot of power over our subconscious when we decide to tap into it intuitively. And that is also what takes place when we're dreaming, or when we are imagining, or when we are just reflecting. We are going back into our subconscious, bringing things out that we weren't aware of when we were focused in on the conscious state. So our subconscious is a very powerful tool that we can tap into at any time to use intuitively, or just help us understand a situation, or help us understand our own beliefs on a situation when it is not aligned and doesn't feel right in our system or in our gut. So that is what I believe the subconscious does for us. And it is a very powerful tool, and is not to be feared. There's a lot of ways to get into it in a non-fearing way, because we are not meant to fear our own subconscious. We are meant to understand it and get into it from having grace with ourselves. So thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing. All right. Sometimes I take notes as we go around, and I didn't today. So I'm like pouring all these thoughts trying to get them. Oh, it's great. Well, so I love, Sharon, I love the what you shared in the beginning about how it's not just what we think or what we're aware of. Like, it's not just our brain, it's like in all the cells of our body. I love that. But one of the words that comes up for me around this is the word grok. So G-R-O-K. I think it's from Strangers in a Strange Land, but go find, does everyone know, is that what it's from? I think it is. So it's from, Stranger in a Strange Land, 1961 science fiction. So for me, grokking includes like our explicit knowing, well, I should say, and so just like you said in our cells, I think that all of the ways that we are aware. So just like we talk about in metaphysics, there are all these clairs, there are all these ways to be aware of things, right? We might hear or smell or see or simply know or whatever it is, sense, all the ways we take things in. So in all the ways we take things in, there are the things that we are that we're conscious of, that we're aware of, and then there's all the stuff that we're not. And grokking for me it's a word that means the things we consciously know and a bunch of the stuff we don't know, but we have the sense of the thing. But grok is more like a wholeness of it. So it includes, I think, of like the explicit things and the space between. So when we say we grok, it's like often a bigger, broader kind of thing. And so how does it, to understand intuitively or by empathy, to establish rapport with, or to empathize or communicate sympathetically with, or to experience enjoyment. There's like some of the meanings, right, in Wikipedia. So there's what we are explicitly aware of and what we're not. And all the time we're taking in all this stuff. Our body stores it, right? Our brain stores it. So all these parts of us are storing all these things. And I was thinking about unconscious and the shadow. And like, what's the relationship between unconscious and what we often call shadow? And I think in many ways, it's the same thing. They're just different words for it. When we talk about the shadow, we usually talk about the challenging or the troublesome shadow, the things that get in our way and cause us challenges, because we're aware of all this stuff. All of this stuff influences all that we do or don't do. And so all the unconscious stuff is influencing stuff as much as as much as the conscious, maybe more. And so there's the troublesome parts. And then also some people talk about the brilliant shadow, or like the brilliant parts of our subconscious. So maybe like, what are the parts of us that are great that we're scared of and we're hiding, we're not really looking at, we sort of sense, but like, so all these things, right? So it's all the things that we're not as aware of the subconscious. And right, so I guess the subconscious is particularly active in driving things when we're sleeping and things like that. And really, I think it's driving all the time. And the benefit of getting more and more aware of our subconscious, of our shadow, the brilliant and the challenging parts. We have more capacity to go in a direction we want to go, to set boundaries that we want to set, to invite in, to aim for what we do want, all kinds of things like that, take action in the ways that we want, navigate when stuff comes up, or the other stuff runs the show and we don't really know what it is. I guess one of the playful analogies people talk about is like who's driving the bus. So is our subconscious driving the bus, right? Our unconscious, subconscious, or do we know that we're driving the bus? Yeah. So all these parts, right? All these parts of ourselves and the layers of what we're aware of and not. And again, it's like not aiming for perfection, I guess aiming for like the most in alignment that we can be. So these are one of the ways that we can put attention and energy and be a stand for being in alignment with the spirit that we are. That's a bit of how I think about this. And we just had DoveLight join us. So let me get DoveLight up here. And DoveLight can introduce herself and talk about the theme a bit. DoveLight, we've just gone around and done introductions, and we were just starting to share about the theme, navigating our subconscious. So you could do both of those things, and then we'll have a chance to come around and each of us, if we want to say more. And I hear Aylin just got home too, so she's going to be on soon as well. Yes, great.
Good evening, everybody. My honor and blessings to be in your presence. Thank you so much. You can find me at DoveLightOracle.com. I still have the 20% off any session by the coupon spring. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Oh, Lord.
I know, and you just got here. It's okay. Everyone knows like you just landed. So go ahead and go ahead. Tell us more about what you do and as you're getting settled.
I'm just a regular person. I like spirituality because it complements my life. You have to live your life, be here. Yeah. And I don't make this up. I'm going to have to take the business introduction class with Laureli and Lisa. No, but seriously, I'm just a spiritual person. I'm very grateful to be here, and I'll do divine readings, intuitive insight readings. I just love it because it helps you to have an awareness and more clarity where your energy is at the moment. And I also do healing sessions or work with energy, sound energy, light language. And some of the healing or shamanic practice that I do could be like ancestral healing. It could be past life regression, soul of the life retrieval. I love Bogle One extraction. It's Marcel Bogle was the first person who did the chip for the computers. He made the fluorescence lights. He loved humanity. He was an amazing inventor, but he wanted to do more than just do science. He loved science, but he also wanted to help heal humanity. So he created the Bogle One, which is a crystal with a specific cut based on the tree of life on the Kabbalah, who actually have the ability to impermeate the light crystal. It affect the crystals in the cells in the body. So I love the level of extraction that you can get with Bogle One. It's very different, and it's beyond words that you could get just by doing any other type of releasing or extraction work. And actually, that's one of my specialties or my favorite things to work on. And yeah, and basically that's a few of the things that I do. And about the subconscious, when navigating through the subconscious, I feel like it's such a deep, unlimited topic because it depends on what do you understand by subconscious, or how have you walk your life through the subconscious, because I feel like people don't stop themselves to ask themselves like, what are my belief? What is my intention? In shamanism, we do everything with an intention. When we put a candle there, it has an intention, it has a purpose. We are talking to spirit, we are giving an offering. When we put water, it's because the gift of life. We have to remember that we have to drink water, but also water gives life to all the plants. So everything that you use, especially in an altar, has an intention, it has a purpose there. However, most of us have learned many beliefs or many habits that is so embedded in our skin, in our life, that we are not aware. Sometimes we don't stop to think that if it's for my highest good at the present moment or not. For example, in shamanism, we have these concepts of shedding the old skin, of the snake skin. Snakes, they shed their skin. So what it means when we are called to shade our skin, it means that there is something so embedded in you. It could be a thought, a habit, a belief, so embedded in you that you can't even see it anymore. You really don't even think about it. You do automatically. And what is that? It's the skin. You don't think, usually most people don't think about their whole skin. It's part of themselves. So it means that this belief, this thought, this habit, it's very ingrained. It's part of yourself, but it's time to release it. It's time to let it go, because a snake grew a new skin, a renewable period. So this is what we mean by in the subconscious. I feel like with the subconscious, we have so many things that perhaps it's time to release them. Perhaps when you were a kid, you have this strong belief that you were afraid of something in specific. I don't know, you thought the red color was negative for some reason. And that for whatever reason it was when we were a kid, but now that you're an adult, you understand that one color is part of many. There's many colors, there's red, blue, yellow, and it's not so bad to be, to stop your life every time you see a red color, a black cat or something like that. I mean, you are free to believe and do as much as you want to, but if it becomes something that it's going to stop you from living, if it's going to become something that is gonna self-sabotage you, if it's going to become something that it's going to stop you, then you have to have the consciousness to open yourself up to see if it's all belief, in this case the red color, is serving you for your highest good. You see, I hope I'm making myself a little bit more clear. Okay, I'm done.
No, that's great. That's great. And we've also now been joined by Aylin. So I'm getting your name all switched up here. And then, yeah, if you could introduce yourself, tell us what you do and how people can contact you if you want, and then share a bit about the theme, navigating our subconscious.
Hello, thank you for having me here. Sorry for my tardiness. My name's Aylin. I am an intuitive body worker, grief coach, energy worker. Basically, I hold a very grounded space for people to process whatever's happening in their life or their body. And I can help guide them to find more meaning in whatever challenges they are finding either in their lives or in their lives. My website is releasingjoy.com. And I was interested in participating in this panel, Navigating Your Subconscious, because I really believe and have personal experience with listening to my life as it is happening and paying attention to all the little signs that either my body is saying or cues I'm picking up from the environment, my emotional reaction to things. And I'm just, my dreams, especially, I'm really into dreams right now. And I'm finding much more comfort in being in my own being by being more aware of how I react or respond to any kind of external stimuli or even internal stuff like dreams. So I'm just happy to be here and yeah. Thank you.
Great, great. Thanks so much. I love all the different things that we all add to this theme. Well, let's see. So often after we go around, we each think of more things we want to share. So does anyone have more you want to share about navigating our subconscious before we get started with questions? And I'll put the information in the chat again, too. If you'd like to ask a question of the panel, it could be on the theme. It might be about something else. We would love to answer your questions. We request that you pay first and let us know that you've paid and we'll get you in line. Yeah, who else has something to say about navigating our subconscious or about your background too, if you have something else about yourself you want to share after hearing everyone? Anyone have something else? I know.
Well,
Okay, go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead, Sharon.
yeah,
Maureen.
well, something that came to my mind was sometimes the subconscious seems very ambiguous, like it's this woo-woo, right? Well, we're woo-woo, we're here, or we're kind of talking, but really it's very scientific also, in that the brain has the RAS system of the brain. It's this little piece of the brain that sits back here and it is a filter. It is part of our system. And like Angie said, you know, it's we pick it up, and she also talked about intention. So that's, say, like with my children, we play a game, I Spy with My Little Eye. And one time we played the game, I spy with my little eye a yellow slug bug, which is a VW. Well, I'd maybe seen once in a blue moon, seeing a yellow slug bug, and all of a sudden we were seeing them everywhere. Well, it's like we informed that RAS system that we had a new intention. Our subconscious then went to work for us to help us be more aware. So I think that's very, it's good to bring it down into the earthly plane so people can understand. And then when you take the spiritual part of it, which can be described, it can be frequency, it can be vibration, but it's something that isn't quite describable. Science, as it evolves, we can learn to pick it up more. Like maybe something years ago, like for example, the meridians of the body, the Chinese believed they've existed before we could prove it. And they found out intuitively ways to access it with acupuncture and acupressure. But now we actually have scientific methods using dye and nuclear medicine where we can actually track the meridians. I mean, it's just so fascinating. It just never ends. So when people feel a little bit apprehensive about, especially if they've come like with from a fundamentalist background where all this stuff was like of the evil realm, I'll use that word, right? And so to enlighten people that it's not just ethereal, it truly is scientific. And the highest and the best is when we get, in my mind, when we get to mingle it all. And it's just, it excites me, and learning excites me. So if anybody's apprehensive about ways to tap into the subconscious, I want you to be at peace. It's not as weird as you think.
Great. We've got Aylin and DoveLight with some more comments. Go ahead, Aylin.
Thank you, Sharon. I wanted to tag on to what you're talking about with body structures, basically meridians being a structure of sort, a system of sorts. Part of what I use in my work is acknowledging the function of the brain, the left brain and the right brain, and the gut brain. And the left brain is very linear. It controls the right part of your body, which is about moving forward. But because it's a linear processor, it tends to be slower. The right side of your brain, which controls the left side of your body, is much more abstract and able to intuit a lot more and can process information way quicker than the left side of your brain. And then the gut brain, which they're starting to find that there's the neurology of the gut, specifically in the solar plexus area, and there's a structure called your greater omentum, that is our gut brain, and that processes information infinitely faster than either any part of our physical brain in our head. So whenever you feel like you have a gut reaction or a gut knowing, listen to that. That's what I have to say. That will increase your access to your subconscious.
That's great. And is gut knowing, is it more emotional? Do you know if that's?
I haven't heard it talked about related to emotions. I think that's yet another system, but it's just I think it's an intuition, but whatever the processing, the information processing happens in this part of our body.
That's great. It's great. I was wondering too, just you and Sharon, Maureen both mentioned meridians. Could you just say just a tiny bit of what meridians are for the people that might be watching that don't know? Either of you.
Go ahead, Aylin.
Okay, correct me if I'm chime in, Sharon. Meridians are lines, so they're energetic. I call them structures, but energetic lines throughout our body. Maybe they're electric, there's some kind of energy, right? And they are associated with different organs in our body, but they also have descriptions such as moist, dry, hot, cold, and the interaction of all these elements together can help a practitioner understand what's going on with the body.
Yep.
You want to add to that, Sharon?
Yeah, so with nuclear medicine, what we can track, they inject a dye into a body, and the dye follows the lymph channels. And that's how they found the lymph channels are actually the meridians. And the
I didn't know
exciting,
that.
yeah, so it's, and I'm sure, and the Chinese have a lot more back here. Well, it's an extensive system, but the interesting thing is the main lymph channel in the body, which I think you'll find this fascinating, is called the thoracic duct. Well, it's in the center of the body. So everything in the body is lymph, moves, filters, and it eventually goes through the thoracic duct to be
Yeah, you're totally right.
so when you say gut reaction, it's
yeah.
like, you know, it's so right on.
Yeah. Oh, this is so fun.
It is fun. It's
This
really
part why it's
fun.
great for us to come together and do panels because we all get to learn.
It's fun.
That's great. Okay, yeah. Anything else you wanted to say about meridians? Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. It's great.
Maybe Daniel's a body worker. Does Daniel have anything to say?
I guess, yeah, Daniel's in the audience. Daniel, did you want to say anything else about meridians before we go on to DoveLight? Daniel might not be the, okay, yeah.
Well, thank you for the nod, but I think I'd prefer to let the panel speak.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Daniel. We've got some of our practitioners in the audience too. All right, DoveLight, you're next, and then Angie.
And I'm so grateful for the info because since I started taking probiotics, I feel feeling much better in many levels and ways. So thank you for reminding us of the importance of taking care of our guts. Thank you. Navigating the subconscious, I feel like some people, it can be scary. Even somebody mentioned before shadow work, but every type of shadow work, at least from my perspective, which might be different, and that's okay, is light work. You can generally go to your subconscious or to the deepest, darkest if you don't have some compassion or some type of nurturing. But otherwise, you're just going to torture yourself. You're going to be depressed and you're going to be in a hole. You're going to come back because you're going to go back in the same circle, in the same frequency. However, something that I noticed with the subconscious field, it's that it knows when you're ready to know something. It knows what you are being able to take through my past life sessions, and also through dreams, and when memories of something traumatic have came up with people that I work, and also with my own memories. There was before I was scared because I didn't know when is the next thing is gonna my mind is gonna release, because I think I was healed or I already passed through. I did my inner child work, I did my breath work, I did journaling, I did this, I did my clearing, and suddenly out of the blue, a memory came back or a trigger, and this is from the subconscious. Oh, thank you. Okay, let's start talking. So basically, the subconscious is working for you. When you're going to eat, you don't specifically take your fork or your brain. I'm going to move my finger this way. I'm going to push this way. I'm going to give a circle. We do it automatically. That's the subconscious. That's a given. That's the brain doing automatically. So basically, the subconscious, it's storing all this information so your human brain and field doesn't get overwhelmed or overload. Do you see? It's like giving you a focus. So when we're working with the subconscious, basically we are being conscious and we are becoming more aware of the things that we feel like we need to work on. It could be anything. The subconscious is the realm of everything. It stores information of everything, but their main function is also to keep us alive, to keep us going in the human realm, to store information, to see, okay, red line, that means the cars are going to stop. So you just automatically know when you see a red light, you have to stop. You see, it's more like automatic stuff to continue moving and flowing. So what I was saying, it's the what I was saying, oh, I got something. I got what I was talking about before. I was talking about the spoon. Can you please tell me?
Yeah, if it doesn't come back, we'll come back to you.
Yeah,
When it comes back.
yeah. My dog just came to distract me when I was in the middle of that. Oh yeah, every type of light work is shadow work, because you're gonna have compassion in order for you to work, otherwise you're going to get depressed. But people think the soul or the mind, it's only in your head or in your pineal gland, but actually the energy field, the energetic energy field in the mind is the consciousness, which is connected to your soul. That's why when people have near-death experience and they die, they can remember seeing the people above their bodies. They can remember things, and sometimes they even go visit, like they know they can hear the nurse, even though they're declared dead or they're in a coma. They say, I'm still hearing the nurse, I'm still feeling my father, I'm still feeling this and that, because the subconscious is connected to that realm of the mind in the conscious with the soul, to keep you alive, to keep you safe, to keep sensing. And so when we are navigating our subconscious, it's very important to ask and talk in the present, because I say this before, but for human purposes, to understand how this world works, we have past, present, and future. But in a soul realm, in a consciousness realm, it's always a constant present. So the subconscious is usually, in order for us to reach the subconscious or to change patterns that we change or believe, we have to talk in the present time. So for example, if you want to change something that you believe, it's like you feel not worthy, the classic. You feel
like
I'm gonna stop now.
Your dog has an answer too. We just did an animal panel yesterday in Seattle. So I'm like, yeah, thinking about all this. All right, Angie's got some more to share too. Go ahead.
Okay, let me lower me. So just to bring this kind of all back, we have the psychological, we have the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. And the conscious is what we do presently. We are all conscious right now. The subconscious is okay, back up. When we come into this experience, we have a stream of consciousness that never goes. We never forget. We don't have past, all of this is just a stream of consciousness. So when we come into this experience, we are going to try to navigate all of that we already know. So we come in to forget so that we can remember, so that we have the conscious, the unconscious, and the subconscious. Like I said, what we're now consciously aware of what's happening. The subconscious is what's going on around us. And then the unconscious is the things that we do that we don't even think about, like the eating, we pick up the spoon, the driving. These are the things that turn into patterns that we're unsure about. So what we want to do is to navigate the subconscious. We're wanting to understand what's going on there so that we don't make the unwanted things, that the unwanted behaviors become unconscious, so that we can navigate through this subconscious. And then we have the superconscious, and the superconscious is a lot. That's the abilities that are beyond what we can see right here. And a lot of us practitioners, what we do is we tap into the superconscious to be able to go into your unconscious and pull out what you can't see. Because as practitioners, we can see it, because spirit, or however we are getting our clairsentience, our sentience ability comes into that way. So we are able to tap into what you can't see in your subconscious and bring it out, because we are the mirrors of you, and that is what we do. And then I know somebody talked about the gut reaction. When we come in, we are given this beautiful thing called the personal emotional guidance system. And we are all come in with this beautiful light that we are all trying to achieve and get to. And when we are off, or we are not in alignment with that light, we start to feel something in our emotional guidance system, and our gut will say, something's off. And so we have to figure it out. Is it because we're insecure? Is it because we're in a place we're not supposed to be? Whatever it is, your spirit is saying, this vibration is not matching with what I know you to be when you first went into this experience. Let's find out and get you to that vibration. And that's what the emotional guidance system does. And we get that through our chakras, through the root, the sacral, solar plexus, our heart, throat. We get all of those emotional guidance systems to be able to navigate where we're going in this beautiful experience we have right now. So I just kind of wanted to bring it in a psychological view of what really the conscious subconscious, and it isn't mystical or magical. It's a way for our spirit to be able to give all of us this power that we came into, and to be able to navigate this power in different ways that our energy is able to make sense of in this reality. So.
Great, thank you. Yeah, that was great to bring in the superconscious. Christina.
Let me take my hand down. As everyone's talking, I don't know. I know a lot about this information, but this was just a new way of how the insight was just given to me, just listening to everyone speak. Basically, I was just told to say that there are 4 ways to access the subconscious, and it kind of falls off of what Sharon and Aylin was talking about with the gut brain. And you have also a brain in your heart area. Obviously, you have the brain that's in your head, but we also have a brain in our womb, or our sacral area for men, because obviously they don't have a womb. But those are 4 areas that you can tap into the subconscious, depending on what you want to tap into the subconscious about. Because obviously we store information. Like I said, the subconscious is always storing information, but it's not a disorganized storage. These 4 access points can help you navigate where in the subconscious that you want to basically tap into some information. So if it has to do with dealing with some traumatic experience that is in your memories, obviously that would be tapping into the mind or the head chakra areas. And we're not just talking about the third eye and the crown. We have other chakra points in our upper areas, but that would be the area obviously you would tap into. If it had to do with a broken heart situation, or a relationship that ended and it really traumatically affected, your heart area, then obviously that would be an area that you would tap into to go into the subconscious to deal with that type of situation. And then if you're dealing with the intuition and tapping in basically your whole being, because of that solar area that's there, that's your power source. So when you're tapping into that area, you're tapping into the whole being of yourself. And then if it has something to do, once again, with being a woman, or a traumatic situation that occurred because of a sexual encounter, or has to do with blockages with your creativity, then you would tap into the sacral or the womb area to get into the subconscious that way. And then on top of that, they told me that there's also 2 additional access points, once again, and it's kind of tapping into what Angie's saying about the super conscious. So if you want to tap into not just this being of yourself, but your other beings, your other dimensional selves, even with your ancestors, there's cosmic portals that you can get into to get into the super conscious. And then of course the earth has its data center that's always collecting things too, and you can tap into the earth chakra points or the inner earth areas to tap into the super conscious that way also.
Great. Yeah, I love this, the synergy of us all together. I know I have a few things I want to share too, and then it'll lead into a question for all of us also. So I get some ideas about some ways we can notice what's in our subconscious, so we can become more aware of what's in our subconscious, go inquiring, and then also ways we can kind of influence and shift what's happening, making things more conscious. So looking for patterns. Some of you talked about some of these things already. So looking for patterns, any patterns at all in our life. So one of my teachers talks about if something happens 3 or more times, there's a message in it for us. There's something in it for us to explore. So that's what tells us there's a pattern. So when something happens 2 times, I'm like, oh, is it a pattern kind of thing? Yeah, so we go looking for what that is. And usually it's to ask, like, how is this familiar? So it's an opportunity for us to hold it in a loose way, so more of a grokking way of, like, we may think this is the pattern, but like, what is the pattern? And then to look, how is it familiar, going really far back. So usually it's early life, early childhood stuff. So how is this familiar? Who does this remind me of? If it's with a person. So that will help us often find what's going on in there. Anytime that we get, what we call like triggered, or we're pushing away, we're really resistant to something or want to get away from it, or we're so craving, grasping, there's going to be something there in the subconscious for us. So same as patterns, really looking for themes, and it might be something that you find particularly frustrating. Or you could be a theme of things that you're really good at. Like there might be beliefs you have, right? Subconscious stuff going on that has those be good experiences, has you step into those and do well at those. Which then takes us back to the things that are frustrating. Like, so what are the beliefs that we have that are, in the way? So that's how we can get into what is a new belief we can create. And there are all kinds of strategies for creating new beliefs and how to integrate and really embody these new beliefs, right? Affirmations, but a way to embody them. Some of you talked about dreaming. So I know Aylin talked about dreaming. So we can choose to so recording our dreams as soon as we wake up, journaling. Some of you mentioned that. But so we can intentionally dream. So we can't necessarily set what exactly will happen. Might be able to do that too. But it's, even if you just as you're going to sleep, like, I want to explore this, the chances are it will influence your dreams, and then you can see what happens around that topic. And so I think any creative expression is a way that we can find out. And I was thinking about, like, what's the difference between accessing our subconscious and channeling? And so I love that you talked about superconscious, Angie, because this is kind of getting in this space. But I think automatic writing could bring in superconscious and can also allow our subconscious to emerge. So whether it's writing or drawing or like molding 3D, like in clay, all those things allow, I think, some subconscious to appear as well as superconscious, or things that are like channeled. And all kinds, Sharon is talking about like hypnotherapy, right? These are great ways, all kinds of ways to allow what's not currently apparent, even though it's not visual and appearing, to show up. And gosh, what did I write? Oh, you talked about driving. So like a very visceral example for me. Every once in a while, when I'm walking down the stairs, and you got to do this carefully, do it when there's a railing and you can grab on. So when you're walking down the stairs, think about that you are literally kind of throwing your body forward, standing on one foot, where this huge thing that you could go falling down, and that your body is able to balance. And you can walk downstairs fairly quickly as you're flying on one foot and one foot and one foot. And just that works so well, where you don't have to think about it. It gives you a sense of like how much is happening subconsciously that you're not aware of. And usually as soon as I start to think about it, I can't hold my balance well and I freak myself out, and all these other kind of beliefs show up. Yeah, so I had driving as an example too. But do this with things that are safe, like going down the stairs when you don't have to go fast and you can grab a railing. What else did I write? There was something else in here. It's just like, where does all this stuff come from? So whatever our past experiences are, or our past life experiences, our soul purpose path. So family of origin, culture, right? Religion, school, all these kinds of things. The people we hang around, all this stuff. Yeah. No? We say, yeah, just all kinds of different things. Yeah. So anyone else, like, what are ways that you access what's in the subconscious, and what are maybe other ways you play with them? And we are open for questions. So anyone that wants to ask us a question, we take questions. And it's great if you ask us a question like you would in a private session, so we can go deep and really be of value to you, of service to you, and everyone can learn from the questions that you ask. DoveLight.
One of the ways that it has helped me adapt to access my subconscious is like to trick my brain right and left. And I usually will ask, what is you can journal it as well, or say it out loud, or put a recorder. And you can ask, what will be the best thing that it could happen? What will be the best thing that could happen if I don't get that job? Or what will be the best thing that could happen? And you put something like negative to say it in this way. What would the best thing happen if this guy doesn't like me? What will be the best thing to happen if I don't get a promotion? What will be the best thing to happen if I get rejected? And just by confusing the brain in these type of words, but in a relaxed mode, in a meditative mode, you can get so much things that you might not even realize. And also in the same thing can apply different. What will be the worst thing that could happen if this guy like me? What will be the worst thing that could happen if I have good health? What will be the worst thing that could happen? It can finally move out from this house and be independent. Sounds tricky because usually we will say, of course, nothing will happen. Are you crazy? That's our conscious. But if we generally allow ourselves time to be present and just a space to listen with no judgment, you're not looking for a specific answer. You are not pressuring yourself to get something from you. You're just allowing yourself to listen. That you cannot cheat your subconscious. You cannot cheat it because it's one of their main purposes to keep you alive, to keep you flowing and moving. If your subconscious doesn't feel that you actually are ready to listen the truth, it could be through an emotion, it could be through a memory, it could be through a dream. If it doesn't feel like you are ready to receive it, it will not be showing to you yet. And it's kind of like a self-protection system. And it works in many different levels, in many different ways for everybody, because we all have different experience. But it knows when you allow it to feel yourself safe, and the subconscious have an agreement with your conscious that it's okay, it will tell you. Perhaps it's about an example for money. If I tell you right now, you're going to become millionaire at this moment, you're like, oh yes, why? Yeah. But if you become millionaire right now, you don't know, perhaps you have a subconscious disagreement with money. You feel the rich people are bad, or money will make you dirty, or you feel money from the evil, and then you subconsciously start throwing money away, start doing bad business, blah 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 blah. Of course, the first thing you will say, but I always wanted to be rich, why I never can keep money with me? It is because the inner belief, the habit, the system that it's in your with you are carrying. So that will be a good question. What will do the worst thing that could happen if I become millionaire? And the subconscious usually work in the present moment. So it's better if you want to reprogram, you can also do in the present. I am worthy of money. I love money in a healthy way. I am abundant. I deserve to be worthy. I deserve to have a good job. I deserve to do that. The more that you keep telling yourself, the more that you keep believing it, the more safe and more familiar we start feeling, because then you're going to take the actions that it might be more positive and healthier. I just wanted to honor that.
Great. Yeah, anything else anyone wants to share while we're waiting for a question? And if we don't have questions coming in from the audience, we can ask questions ourselves too. Go ahead, Sharon, Maureen.
One of the things that comes to my mind is referring to what I introduced myself as a recovering fundamentalist. Somebody will say, hi, I'm Sharon. I'm a recovering fundamentalist. Okay. And one of the things that I really want to encourage my clients to do, and myself, is that to trust this process, to trust the subconscious, to trust intuition. One of the signs of culty behavior is that you're taught not to trust. Well, you can't trust your intuition, or somebody else always knows better for you. And my heart, and I believe the heart of everyone here, is to be a conduit to help you facilitate what you already know inside yourself. And a great practitioner, in my judgment, will be the one that trusts you enough and is willing to be a resource, but never override what you know to be true. And when we're starting out, sometimes on our journey and really trying to learn and understand and touch base with our subconscious and our inner knowing, and all the facets that it entails, sometimes it's an experimental game. It's like, can I walk on water? You take that first step and you sink, and then, but you try again. So don't be afraid. And I just know that the heart of the people I associate with and the practitioners that I know, their heart is to see you really learn to trust yourself and know that all the needed available information, subconsciously, consciously, super consciously, is there for you.
Yeah, it's great. It's back to your theme. The universe has my back. The universe has your back. Yeah. Great. Well, yeah. So do any of us have a question for all of us? We can always go that route too. DoveLight, whatever you want to say or ask.
Oh, I just wanted to say that thank you, Sharon, for bringing that up, because there was a time in my life in the past when I was taught by these so-called fake prophets or psychics what not to do with people. And you usually can get in this fake game of giving somebody else your power. And I can understand now as a more mature person that I was not in a good emotional place. That's what it was easier for me for this person to say that they have the power to heal me, they have the power to change my life. I'm gonna do this candle and this, that, and that will be over. But even though I'm very grateful for the experience, it was my subconscious. I didn't feel worth enough at that time. I didn't feel like I could make a real change in my life. So it was easier for me to give it to somebody else the power to make a change. Here, do spell in these candles and you will do it. If I just give you thousands of dollars, you know? And it looks funny, but that's because I was not conscious. I was not aware. That was my wound. At that time, I never asked myself if it's possible that somebody else can live your life for you or do a major change for you. Of course not. Every single healing always happens because you are open to healing, no matter how much you know about energy, no matter how gifted you are, no matter how many techniques you have. If the person is not willing to say yes, if not willing to release, if not willing to be healed, what you're doing nothing. You are absolutely nothing. So again, I personally feel that it is very important to be part of your healing process, whatever that might be, medicine plants, herbal plant, energy healing. You have to be part of your healing process. You have to be present, and also you have to understand that you are in a way, at the same time that we acknowledge that we are wounded, that we are in a difficult moment, at the same time there is a dimension when you are already healed and you are already gifted and you already have everything that you need to keep moving forward. It's just that it's kind of like realign yourself to that. And a lot of that, it has to do with the subconscious belief, no, I should not get healed because I screamed to my mom before she died, or I didn't was on time for the funeral, and now I feel guilty. I need to punish myself, you know? Now I'm not gonna get healed. So it has to do a lot of with the subconscious to allow yourself to say yes to yourself, to your life, you know? So going back to the power that you already carry, the power to heal, the power to be happy, the power to love, is just that we have to make the conscious choice to live, the conscious choice to heal. And also the subconscious, it's not against that. Usually when we have like a negative partner that can self-sabotage, in this case, I'm putting an example of, I'm not gonna heal my sickness because I feel like I need to be punished because whatever I feel guilty about. It's not the subconscious is punish you. It's that the subconscious belief that by doing that you're gonna continue living. That's why it does things. If when you were a kid you were bitten by a dog and it was so traumatic, of course your self-defense as an adult is gonna be, I don't want to get close to kid or feel fears around dog. I'm not gonna get close to the dog or feel fear around dogs because it's your self-preservation. Is also your subconscious. No, don't be close to dogs because you can die, you know? So if we have just to align and tell the subconscious, hey, this belief is not working for me. It helped me to survive as a kid or as a teenager, but I feel like it's not working for me at this moment. So then we have to go to the inner realms within, go to the inner you. You have to be willing to see you, to hear you, generally hear you. What are you thinking in your head, you know? So I just want to honor that. Yeah.
Great. I was realizing one of the tools that I use for shifting my subconscious is I use my subconscious for it. Like I consciously use my subconscious. So one of the things I was glancing at online when I was looking some words up earlier is the subconscious is also often called the trickster. So I use this trickster. So one of the ways I do that is, so I do it for myself and I do it for clients too, is if I'm being hard on myself, I see a client being really hard on themselves and they're like, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy kind of thing. I have them look at someone else in their life Usually it's if they have a child or some other child that they're really connected to, just something that they see as more pure, innocent, that they, they see the goodness in that other being. And I get them into that space of whatever the context of that belief of, well, what about for that? Like, what about they? Are they good? Do they deserve, like, would they ever do anything bad, like really bad? Like, is their being at the core, is it bad or is it good? And they can usually connect to how, of course, that being is good. Of course, that being is worthy. If that being makes a mistake, of course, they deserve to be forgiven. And so just play with like, well, if that's true of them, well, what about me? What about you? Right. And so there and come back and there and come back. And so it's kind of letting different parts of the subconscious kind of play and mix and mingle. And yeah, so of using our subconscious to, I guess using maybe we could say using like the brilliant parts or using the joyful, spiritually aligned parts to kind of tickle and wake up and shift the parts of us that have other beliefs. And I know Aylin is starting a fire. So she was going out to get firewood, so she's coming back. It's cold today. Those of us in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of us, it's cold.
Yeah.
All right, she's back. All right, the fire's going. All right. Oh, the door is open. The fire's starting. Yeah. Well, yeah. So do we have any questions for us or just other topics around the navigating our subconscious that we want to share? Oh, yeah, sure. Great. So we've got a query from someone as some conversation to have. Have any of us experienced or believe that subconscious can speak to us by arranging experiences in the outer world? Well, we haven't said this explicitly, but I think we are all implicitly saying that our subconscious drives more of what happens. I'm saying more so than our conscious. Like we think it's our conscious, but just like our, I don't know what the percentage is, but they're like all kinds of, wild statements of like, we're consciously aware of like 1% of what like our brain is taking in or all of our brains or they are taking in. So yeah, so anyone else have any comments about that? Does our subconscious arrange experiences in the outer world? And I say, like, I look at who we date, and when I look at people's exes, they almost always choose people with the same eyes, but they have no conscious awareness that they are choosing people with the same eyes, except that they might have the same color. And the color has nothing to do with the energy I read. All right, so I think we've got Angie and then Aylin.
I was just going to say that until we make the intentional move to start creating for what we actually want, we are constantly through law of attraction going off of our subconscious because we are not aware until we are creating exactly what everything that's in front of us is an essence or a interpretation of the vibration we're giving off at all times. And until we can intentionally say, I'm going to take what's in my subconscious, bring it into my conscious, and I'm going to create with it, that's what's always creating is your subconscious. So I just wanted to say that as well. And then shadow work, I really want to talk about shadow work really quick. Shadow work is really, it's not dark or horror. I mean, it can be in a lot of times, but many of us, what we do through our whole experience is somebody will say one thing to us. Somebody will tell us, I had a client tell me her father told her one time that she didn't communicate well. And so for her, the rest of her life, she was shadowing her belief on herself by what her dad said in that one moment, thinking this whole time she couldn't communicate well. She couldn't say what she really wanted to say. And the truth of the matter in the perception of who she was now, she was a beautiful communicator. She communicated very well. And she had to understand that what she was doing was literally shadowing her belief of herself off of a one moment, one thing that somebody was said that wasn't even what she really believed about herself, but she chose to begin to believe it, or didn't really choose. Actually, we just begin to take in what everybody else tells us about ourselves, because it's so much easier to take in what other people are saying than what we actually believe about ourselves. Because to believe something strong about yourself, you have to have the confidence, and so that comes with more work. But that is what we do. We shadow, and that is just what shadow. And so when we want to figure out our shadow self, we'll take something like, if you're triggered by not being able to communicate well, then you take it and you're like, where did that first start and you go back to all your times last time you felt that about yourself and the time before that, until the very first time when you realize it was when my dad said it when I was 10, and I have created off of that one belief. And that is shadow work, and just the definition shadow work. So it can be traumatic. There's a lot of that was a really untraumatic kind of experience to be able to go to. And so you would have to, sometimes when there's abuse or a trauma, and it's not a simple thing, but just bringing it back to the very first experience and then figuring truly how you're feeling about it, instead of shadowing off of somebody else's belief about you, and believing truly in who you are. So that's it.
Great. Thank you. Aylin.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Angie just shared in terms of our subconscious kind of creating our path as we go along. So I think my experience, both personally and what I've witnessed with friends and clients, is that as I become aware of my behaviors and I start investigating, well, how long have I had that behavior? How long have I had that belief? Then I start to see patterns. So we were talking about patterns earlier, and then I can change, or I just save the cat. Then I can change my behavior. And so it's like this, looking back to look forward, and then becoming aware of where you're veering off of where you want to go. And you look back to see what might have been driving that. And then you realize, oh, there's a backseat driver back there. Some belief or somebody else's voice that's not yours, that's been driving for quite a while. And then you can okay, I got it now. And you can steer yourself back onto your path. So I think it's a dance. It's a dance. Thank you, Laureli.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. I saw him jump up there and I'm like, I didn't know if the door was still open. Yeah, just too much to watch. He's an 8-month-old kitten, everyone. So yeah, he's still learning. So one thing that occurs to me too is animals. So how would we talk about subconscious and conscious for animals? Other animals, because animals. Yeah, Anissa, I'd love to invite you to say something about that. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but yeah, and we're all making it up.
Well, I wanted to say something earlier and I've been holding back because I didn't know if it was an appropriate format or place for it either. So I kind of wanted to share that, but now we're on a new topic, so I'm not sure what to share.
Go wherever you want to.
Okay, the one thing that I kind of wanted, that I've been holding back, but wanted to share because it was something that's personal for me, is just traditional talk therapy with a psychologist. I think we've really talked a lot about the metaphysical and spiritual aspects, which are so healing and so needed. And for me, I also have needed to have the normie talk therapy to help discover things, to talk through things. And it helped me give a voice to things that I didn't know was there. And by acknowledging that it was there, then I was able to work on changing my beliefs and my habits, CBT, things like that. So I didn't know if that was appropriate to talk about here or not, but just that also that's a way to get into our subconscious mind too, is through traditional talk therapy.
And I was going to say interacting with anything else is a way. So another person is in talk therapy or cards or anything. Yeah, so interacting with anything it's stimulating. So subconscious emerges. Aylin, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's totally appropriate, Anissa, because I think talk therapists are people who choose to hold a flashlight for us and choose to help us, see, oh, there is a driver in the back seat that's been running a lot of your show. Do you still want that, or do you want to move on from that? So, I mean, I think you totally get access to your subconscious by reflecting with another person, especially somebody who that's their gig in life. They want to do that. So yeah, totally appropriate.
Yeah, be it a therapist or a coach or an intuitive or any of us, right? All right, we've got Angie and Christina with more to share.
Talk therapy is absolutely appropriate, and it is an incredible way to get someone to be able to just speak out everything you're hearing. Because a lot of time in meditation, you can do the same thing, but it's not, a lot of people aren't as open to letting things in when they're by themselves or feel the comfort of it. And it is so appropriate and so important that when in my sessions, the first half is letting people talk and telling me what they're creating so that I can catch the things that they're not catching. And that was, we're talking to the subconscious. That is one thing that we do as practitioners, and when we do the talk therapy, is to catch the ways that you're not hearing it. And that is very important. And then, of course, it is solidifying it into your spirit, what you have just learned about yourself, so that you are creating full body and not just up here. And that's the difference between the two. But it is incredibly important to have, a lot of times when we speak out, the person who is in front of us will mirror what we're thinking and will say it out loud. So that connection is absolutely important.
Thank you. We've got Christina next, and then Sharon, and then DoveLight.
Well, I just wanted to touch on what Anissa said from my own personal experience with quote unquote talk therapy, having someone to talk to. But more specifically, if you really want to dive into situations that you've embedded into your subconscious because you don't want to deal with them, you don't want to face them, but they're literally driving your life, is a post-traumatic stress therapist. I've been to several therapists since I was younger because quote unquote depression, anxiety, not understanding it was all connected to experiences that I went through and a part of the gifts and things that I was trying to hide from people. But when I finally met a therapist that dealt with PTSD, and she had a technique to basically help me pinpoint where things initially happened from, even to the point where I would feel those emotions. Those memories would come up like they just happened the other day. And she had a way of working through those things, because even though I forgot about it and I embedded it into my subconscious, your body was imprinted with it. Your body gets imprinted with these things. So you're going through life basically encountering situations that are similar, and you're still having a body reaction to these things. So if you want to, if anyone's interested in actually talking to a therapist, I truly suggest looking for someone that deals with PTSD, because everyone deals with trauma differently. It's not just for soldiers and military people. We all deal with traumas and things differently, but it's a very good therapeutic way to get into the subconscious to clear things out that you tried to forget about and not realizing that they're driving your life at the moment.
Great. We've got Sharon, Maureen, and then DoveLight.
One of the techniques that we use in hypnotherapy is removing the emotional charge behind the trauma so that we can safely process the subconscious. So it's hard to drop down. You mentioned trauma and that trauma response. And the technique is called havening, and it's just so powerful. So once we remove the traumatic charge in the body, then we can then safely do some talk therapy around it, maybe set some new intentions around it. I just wanted to throw that in there. And then about the bodily response, sometimes it's just curiosity. It's not always trauma. It's just like, that's really weird that I do that. It's nothing life shattering, but there's just curiosity around it, you know. And I was thinking a situation in my own life where I would go to a parade, so silly. And as soon as the fire truck came, I would start to cry. Like, it's not, you know, I thought, okay, I'm just patriotic. Well, not really. You know, it's like, I was just so curious about it, but wasn't really intense enough to want to get therapy around it or anything. And then one day I was having a conversation with my mom, and in fact, she called me right after a parade, and how you doing? I said, well, I'm great, but it's the weirdest thing, Mom. I cry at these parades. And she goes, well, you know, Sharon, I was born 2 months early. She fell down a flight of stairs. The siren came blaring, hauled me off, her off. I was born 2 months early, but in my subconscious, I must have had the siren in my head, and I didn't know it. But sometimes it's just information. It's like meeting, you go and you do a therapist, and you just, that's what it was. That's silly. You know, so it doesn't always have to be super intense. It's just curiosity around life. It's not right or wrong. I'm curious about that, and and then the answer. So even the curiosity is implanting in the subconscious the intention to make it be different than it is. And so I just think it's so fascinating, and all the different modalities represented is just how vast it really is. And finding that soulmate that you can communicate, that has the lingo you understand, that piques your curiosity. And that it's such a great and beautiful world and opportunity to have so much exposure, and the opportunity to leave this part of our destination as whole as we can be, to prepare for whatever lies beyond.
Great, thank you, DoveLight.
Oh, I love what you mentioned about healing the emotional charge, because that has been one of the most fundamental works with forgiveness that I've done with myself and with others, because we're not going to change the past. We're not going to change what happened or what caused the trauma. We're not going to take away the responsibility for the perpetrators or our own responsibility for participating. But if we can allow the emotion to be expressed in a safe way and release it, when the memory come back or when the experience might go back, we don't have this emotional charge reaction that they can bring us down. In a way, we more see it as an experience and as even wisdom. So something that can teach us a practical way that we can teach us live life in a better way, perhaps not make the same mistake as before, or perhaps choosing different. So I really love that. And regarding talk therapy, I mean, I feel like it's very empowering for each and all of us to make a educate or a choice for our own well-being in any type of field, in any. When I was younger, I also come from a very traumatic and challenging childhood. But the only option that I had to the public insurance is just take drugs. Literally, they was gonna put me in drugs, and I choose not to do so. Now, I'm not saying that that's for everybody, but for me, it felt like no, it was not the path that I chose to. So I took a job and I pay my own talk therapy, because what Albert Einstein, he said, if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, it's crazy. And I used to believe the same belief, and I used to really do the same things, and I needed somebody another perspective. I decided to work on, because of my own spiritual gift, but this is very particular. It might not work for everybody. I needed to have like a psychotherapist or a psychology or a mental health counselor who also were intuitive and psychic. So the two, because otherwise they will not be able to understand me. As soon as you get me somebody normal, I'm already reading them, I'm already protecting, I'm already getting self-defense. So I did pay for my own talk therapy when we were doing crayons colors. She made me feel safe. She made me actually talk. I was able to take my barriers down. She was the very first person, and she has a master in mental health counseling. She was just a normal person, but she also could talk to plants, and she could see their energy field, and she could do exorcisms. Yeah, she got a master, I'm telling you. So that worked for me, because that's what I need. Perhaps somebody else might work something different, or perhaps somebody else might need I don't know, but I feel like it's really important to honor what might work for somebody might not necessarily work for you, and what worked for you might not necessarily work for somebody else, and that's okay. But as long as you're willing to take responsibility for the choices you may have, or look for different options for you, I think that's very empowerment. And I feel like that has to be honored, because I've seen the both sides in everything, and I'm still learning about it. There are mental therapists or mental health people who just want your money. They want you to depend on them. And then I've seen people who generally just want to help you, even if they don't know anything about spirituality or metaphysics. They just want to help people. They want to be in service. And regarding the animals, I noticed that, at least, I don't know if they're subconscious, but I feel like it's similar to the human. They have the human personality, and they have their higher self personality. Like, if you talk to a dog or interact with an animal in their dog level, he might tell you, oh, give me the ball. Oh, yes, I like more snow. If you talk to your higher self, you're like, I came to teach you how to love yourself. I came to teach you how to open up. You are the best soul in the universe. I trust you. I found that. I'm not sure if that they're subconscious to feel like their higher self. It might be related to the subconscious, but I noticed that, like us, they have these different dimensions within their own consciousness, and I love that, because they're so high evolved with love, and at the same time they're living with us, so they prepare to transition to human too. So it's a lot happening. If you think you only have a dog or a cat, but a lot is happening in the energies and behind the scenes. So yeah.
Great. Some of the notes I took while some other people were sharing. Body language gives way to tons of subconscious things. So I do body psychology, so there's a lot there. So for example, if someone's leaning like this, you play with, like, you just touch your face, right? So Angie, I was just watching you, right? So if someone's leaning like this, they're often not as engaged, and touching her face matters. So if someone's touching here, I just watch you touch. So around mouth or nose is often blocking expression. So there's usually something that the person is thinking, feeling inside that could come out, and they don't want it to come out. Feelings show up in different parts of the body. There are themes. So for example, anger, which I distinguish between aggression. Aggression is pushing down life energy, and anger is healthy, yes, no, boundaries and things like that. And so these are examples of parts of the body that are anger. And so it's yes, no. So the body is feeling some sort of yes, no, typically. And the brain is not aware of what it is yet, or the brain's aware of it and doesn't want to express it. So when our body gives us signals, it's an opportunity to look to see what it is, so we can be more consciously aware and choose if we want to do something about it. Also, words. The word try is an example. There are tons and tons of words that have so much meaning. Again, any word that we use noticing patterns, like words that we use multiple times as we're sharing, that might be something about that word is meaningful. But so the word try, I feel like it came up somewhere. Someone said something and I heard a try, which is, but so trying to touch our fingers together. So this is trying, this is touching, this is trying. So the trying energy is like towards and away from, right? The only way try could happen is when things go both directions. So whenever we say try, it's a knowing that part of us doesn't want the thing. We may claim we want it and part of us doesn't. So we can, play with that part of us. Like, own why we don't. Get real with that. Maybe we really don't want it. We want it to be something different than it is. I read some notes, if I can see my notes. Oh, yeah. So like an example of a pattern, someone like that believes that the other person's never listening, but it turns out that they're always trying to talk to the other person, trying to talk to the other person when they're about to leave the room or they're leaving the room. So talking to someone when they're not available. It's not that the other person is not listening, it's that they're not choosing a time when someone's ready. So one thing that can help is using some physical object to make the pattern visible. So one of the games I know to play is to use a ball between people as they're having a conversation, so that the person talking has the ball, not like a talking stick, but watch what the pattern is of the ball or the stick, right? So does one person hold it a lot? Do they tend to give it and then they want to get it back? There are all kinds of things that we do with each other. So having some object that makes the pattern more visible is a great way to see some of the subconscious. Yeah, the different things. I'll give an example of one of my things we can play with a little bit. So I've been overweight a ton of my life. I gained a lot of weight, particularly the 8th grade to 9th grade. So there's, part of it's hormones and social pressure, and the idea of like dating. And I didn't realize I was queer at the time. So I remember being attracted to a boy that didn't like me at all. So that was safe. I could like someone that didn't like me back. But I know part of why I subconsciously, part of how I made myself really heavy is because I didn't want anyone attracted to me. I have sexual trauma from childhood, and it was really scary to be in that field. And so by attempting to make myself like ugly and unattractive, try to keep people away from me. Again, because I was queer, because I had trauma, like all kinds of things. But then my whole adult life, right, I've always still been really overweight. And so I know some of these things. I know them. So I know one way that I've changed some things up is I've been exercising consistently for, I guess it's about 4 years now, 3 years, 4 years, lost track, for the first time in my life. And, even just in the last 2 months, really changing up my eating in a new way. I only had one time before really well, I have a few little examples of where I made some changes that last for several weeks, but not, maybe 3 months at most. But yeah, so my body is my body, and then there's this whole history of my body, and like an unwillingness to be fully thriving. So there's the part that I see and I'm aware of, and then the parts that I don't, and like scary for me to look at, right? We don't go look at these things often because we feel scared. So I just say I went off sugar and I went off sugar and I went off gluten and dairy, whatever this was, sometime like 2 months ago, and had a few weeks without those, and that made a big difference in how I felt. So it's not just that I'm overweight, like I've been really inflamed and haven't been able to move around well and just so frustrated. So I felt better, but not better enough, and so I went on a carnivore diet, which I think then got me off sugar. So it got me off whatever other allergens, right, I might be having that, and maybe there's a little bit in there, but a lot of stuff disappeared, and I just couldn't take it now after like 3+ weeks as carnivore. So I'm now integrating vegetables, but I'm eating healthier. I feel better. I'm looking at my body every day, watching to see, I'm not thinking of my words, but how much fluid I'm retaining and all that stuff. So I'm facing some more of, and I'm watching my cravings now that I haven't been eating certain things. And particularly when I first started doing carnivore, I just wanted like, arr, arr, arr. I had that feeling and I wasn't letting myself eat. There's like the things I really wanted to eat, and just the habit of putting food in my mouth. So not even just tasting it, and the sensations and the pattern, and watching my addiction to sugar, like so addicted to sugar. So I've been playing with all these things and having these get more conscious for me. And yeah, I just imagine like so many more layers. So that's an example of stuff. Yeah, so if anyone wants to comment on that specifically, feel free, or talk about whatever other examples of yourself or in other people. I just want to, have some specific examples here in the space.
I could share today, again, going back to the body as a way to tap into our or subconscious. I had 2 clients today who, as I'm working on them, I feel the tension and they're processing something in their life. So they're talking and I feel the tension, like, everything's fine. I got them through breathing, and then I'm working on a neck, and then they're talking about something, and then I saw and felt the shoulders just go up like this. And I took my hands off and go, do you know, you just really tensed your neck up? And they're like, no, I was not even aware of that. So really, gosh, just doing body awareness stuff is so valuable. And I mean, this is our home. This is our divining rod, really, and it can really give us a lot of information.
There's a process that I like to use with my clients, and it's not my process. It's one I use. It's called the healing codes. And part of his philosophy is that the memories are in the cells, and that when we do not know the core issue and we're not accessing the subconscious, but we want to start moving in the right direction, I believe it's a great way. And there's just a short prayer. It's that I pray that all known and unknown cellular memories related to me being overweight, for example, would be healed, and I would be filled with the light, life, and love of God or universe, whatever, makes your boat float. And that the power of this prayer would be multiplied 100-fold. And it's using acupressure points as you're saying the prayer. So right here on the nose of the Brit, here, and on the thyroid. And the goal is to repeat it 6 times. There is an elongated version of that where as you drop down, do some breathing, talk to the subconscious, and then use whatever's revealed as the point for that prayer. I do feel like the subconscious it is a guardian angel, and somebody mentioned this earlier, that it reveals in layers, right? And we get impatient sometimes and also frustrated, because wouldn't it be wonderful if, we were I Dream of Jeannie and we wiggled our nose and it was done. But truly the human condition is about its evolution of the body, mind, and spirit. And it does come in layers. And yes, there are miracles. I've seen bona fide, not many, but I have seen bona fide miracles where instantaneously somebody who couldn't walk walked. That's very, very rare. And so Laureli, just as a friend and practitioner, I just want to keep encouraging you to, we see through, we've seen a mirror dimly, and as we polish, it becomes more and more clear. But in the end, we have to believe that this outward appearance is not the essence of who we are. It may reflect challenges we're facing, but nothing will redefine the eternity of the soul. I love hypnotherapy again for that reason. And it's a choice to drop down, bypass, and ask the soul, what is it I need to know for this next right step for me?
Yeah, I want to clarify that's bypass in a good way, where we
In a very
away
good way.
like the
The
shields that
conscious
are
mind, yeah. And it's important. Again, that like DoveLight said, that container of safety is vital. And it is probably one of the biggest challenges, is to build rapport and help someone feel safe enough when they've experienced especially a lot of trauma. And that was one other thing I wanted to say about anything that we have begun to identify with and was originated in a trauma event becomes what I call trauma trenches. And the deeper the trench, it's potentially more work to fill in the trench with whatever's good, right, and lovely of good repute. So you've been saying I'm overweight since I'm 8. So that in that trauma of trying to figure it out. And so that's why it's so important to change our language around, and the law of attraction. Perfect. This is what it's all about. You are not an overweight person. And that languaging really, you are a person who desires to be at a different weight, however you want to word it. But I would really challenge you lovingly to change your languaging around that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And the thing that you said, I have to go back and watch the video myself. The thing that you said, I was like letting it echo inside me as you were saying it. And I could feel my breath deepen in my lungs, and I feel my presence around my heart. Yeah. So just as you're saying, more like the affirmation, it's like the affirmation-y kind of the lines that you were saying. I don't remember quite what it was now, but yeah, the video, gotta go back.
And in
And this
my
is gonna get posted on
experience with
YouTube.
Thank you. And one other thing I want to say about that is, and then Angie, is that diets are as vast as the people on the planet. And to think that one way of eating is the right way, there's Lorelai's way of eating. And I think that if we can be more mindful and aware, not everyone is gluten intolerant. The fact that you just went batshit crazy and started, craving sugar all of a sudden it's just an indication of something. It's not that sugar necessarily is good or bad. Who's to say what's good or bad? You all heard the story of, somebody who eats Oberto's sausage and smokes cigars and cigarettes until they're 107. What did that person have? So that's another thing, mindfulness and like you said, in your body, just what is it? What is my subconscious telling me about this food I just ate? And if no other intention but to bring awareness around every bite you take. Every time I take a sip of IPA, I'm saying, hallelujah, praise the Lord.
I would say that like the carnivore diet, this is like totally paradoxical to me. The carnivore diet has supposedly about 80% of people that are diabetic and on medication, 80% of them come off their meds. Like this makes no sense, eating a bunch of meat and eating a bunch of fat. It makes no sense based on what we've been taught lately, like the last several decades. But yeah,
and there's
so
quite a few clinical trials coming out saying the contrary, that it actually exasperates diabetes. So, it's interesting. There, like as I say, so I believe the body is the greatest indicator of how we need to be eating.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, and I'm so much more mobile, like having been on that, I'm so much more mobile and flexible and less inflamed. And so it's been really good. So I think it's because I was addicted to sugar, and going off all those other foods made it really obvious that I was addicted to sugar. So I think I already was. Yeah. All right.
So you're very aware. Good job.
Angie. Yeah. Well, right. Working on it. Playing with this, loosening this up. Okay. Loving
I
myself more.
actually am on the same little journey right now, because in this past couple months, since I have just been home and doing, this work, I have gained like 7 pounds, and it's really upsetting and frustrating. And so I have really gone into the shadow work of it, right? What we were just talking about. And what I realized I realized this in the last few days, because it's only been the last few days, these have all come into consciousness, is that when I was young, I was told, and even though I may have been a little bit curvier than the rest of the kids, I was told I was bigger. I was bullied for being chubbier. So then I started to believe that about myself. Okay, I am bigger than the other people around me. This is who I am. And then as I started to get older, and when I did lose the weight, I got all this praise of, oh, you look fantastic. So then that again put me into this thought of, well, if they think I'm better now than when I'm bigger, I must not be good. And so again, reestablished that, okay, I'm bigger than the rest of the people, and that's just how it is. And so then now I started to realize food feels aggressive to me. I feel like food is attacking me. Like when I eat it, I want to enjoy it, but then I feel like, what am I doing to my body when I'm putting this in my mouth? And so I am, through the law of attraction, telling myself, I have a good relationship with my body. I have a good relationship with food. I am not needing to be a bigger person because people told me this is who I am. I love my body. And even though now that I'm saying this, there is a resistance in me, that resistance that I'm feeling because my spirit is saying, yes, this is who you are, keep it going. And my resistance is telling me that, oh, well, but I've been told this my whole life. So I'm unfurling that resistance little by affirmations daily. I love my body. I am going to allow my body to enjoy this food. And I am not going to have to gain weight from it because I don't have to, because this is my experience and I see my body the way I want to see my body, and I love my body, and it is going to serve me in the healthy manner that I want it to, and it is going to be created in the healthy manner that I see it, and I'm going to stop letting other people's thoughts of who I am get in the way. So I'm on that exact same journey, and I am really putting the law of attraction into this as well. So that allows my perception to change about my body, and also allows my physical body to give the permission to change. I'm giving it permission to change. And that's a big deal of the allowing of what we're seeing in our bodies. So I'm on that exact same thing. Through the law of attraction, it will come as we keep affirming to ourselves, this is who we are. So I'm right there with you, but it will work. We're doing it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I'm just gonna like ping back over there to you, Anissa. Like, what's happening for you over there? I just have the sense that there's something.
I was getting images for you from what you were saying. And so I didn't know if you wanted me to share them now or if you wanted me to wait and do it at a later time, but that's all that I was doing, was just like my own little reading of you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was wondering.
The first image was a mantelpiece. So the core of your home wasn't stable as a child. And I already knew that, but it's definitely, you know, the childhood is trauma is very big, and that the heart of your home is still burdened. So there's still a burden that's in your heart that's not completely released. The next was a balcony being on a balcony over a body of water. So I feel that to seek more freedom, you need to be near a body of water, near the coast, where you can really open up your chest to the world, really letting yourself open to the world. I know there's got to be something with body psychology, with being more open, literally opening yourself up to the world. But you need to go to a place where you can truly let go and truly, I keep saying it over because that's I have in my notes, over opening your chest up, because that burden is still like a physical and a metaphorical weight. So if there's more opening up that you could do. And the last one is kind of interesting. It was a storefront, and it was a MeWe storefront, but not in necessarily that MeWe needs a store or a physical location, but that there was more stability or a stronger foundation, that would be helpful, that that it's still, you know, it's still new enough, it's still on unstable ground, that a lot of your energy and emotional energy and physical energy still goes towards working so much that it can't go towards nurturing yourself and holding yourself with care, that so much of it still goes there too. Those were just some of the images that I got.
Yeah, it's great. As you shared the last part too, I was thinking about how, 'cause, you know, when I was really little, my grandparents were in the house, and for a long time, my grandma was also in the house. And so a lot of my childhood, it was watching around and all the different things going on, and like, who did I need to have to take care of, or what did I have to do to prevent stuff and all that. And in some ways, the way I've created MeWe of all the different things going on, it's a little bit of that pattern too. So yeah, I was thinking like the mantle for MeWe, and like having the solid mantle, and like to the heart and my chest being open. Yeah, so I'll go play with that. Like physically put myself, I've got like a blue foam roller, so I can lay on the back of that and stretch out my chest and like presence these things. And yeah.
Support your
great.
cortisol levels. Healthy as an herbalist. That's yeah, I'm sure your cortisol levels are, with all that you're doing and creating in the world. I can imagine you're spanking your adrenals good.
And it's wild being a short sleeper and having all this energy where I don't get tired. I sleep less and I don't get tired. I don't get jet lag, so I also don't get tired when I sleep less. So like, what are all the wild, crazy patterns of all the things? Yeah. Oh, all right. I make myself lay down and not move for a little bit later. Yeah, I choose to put myself there, but I gotta like play with my mind so I don't go off something else. And Christina too, just checking in with you. It doesn't have to be about me, but just like, is there something you want to share?
No, I'm just taking in everyone's knowledge and their perspective on the subject. It's definitely eye-opening to see how everyone has different perspectives on working with the subconscious. But the one thing I am noticing, like, even though we're trying to keep it, you know, light and lighthearted and focused on quote unquote the good side of the subconscious, it keeps falling back to, you know, that trauma that's down in there. And unfortunately, it's not, yes, it's trauma, yes, it's bad things that have occurred, but it's things that have to occur to grow us. If we came down into this world and we just had it all easy, then it would be no point for us to be here. There would be no challenges. So unfortunately, the traumas that do occur and obviously seep down into our subconscious, it's like our driving force to grow while we're down here, grow spiritually, grow and healthy and physically and mentally and things like that. So, you know, it's a coin with two sides, and, you know, the good and the bad would not. But if those things never occurred, we would never grow. And that's the whole reason why we're here, is to experience this earth and experience the things that are down here, regardless if we see them as good as bad. But that's the path that we're walking to help us grow as a soul, as a person, when we're down here.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, so Sharon, Maureen, I know you have to take off. If you could just tell us again about who you are and what you do and how people can reach you and you're special, that would be great. I just put it in the chat.
Thank you, Christina, for that reminder. Truly, suffering is the greatest mystery. And why is it such a catalyst for growth? I will know that's one thing that I don't understand, but I know we can alter it. And it's probably the human in the fundamentalist saying, which I don't believe, but it was brainwashed into me for a long time, was the heart is deceitfully wicked. Who can know it? Wow, what a statement. But what if I've changed that word to say the heart is extremely mystical. I wish to know it. And so it really is a challenge. So thank you for that reminder. And yes, thank you for everyone that's joined us. I do need to head out. If you want to reach out, you can find me at SharonMaureen.com. Very simple. Google me. I like to be Googled, and we'll take it from there. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, Sharon, Maureen, and your special is a free ticket to your masterclass. There's a link in the chat. It's on June 6th at noon Pacific time. You have to register ahead, and the link is in the chat to everyone. And then also, you've got this, the universe has your back, even if you're experiencing lack of direction and clarity, soul alignment, and have anxiety and fear. And you've got half off a session, so $87.50 for a hypnotherapy session in person or online. Thanks so much for being
That's
here.
crazy. Yeah. Blessings to you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And the screen rearranges. Yeah. Well, if anyone in the audience has a question, we'd love to answer it. It's sliding scale. I think it is 20 to 28 or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. Yeah, if anyone else in the panel has a topic or question you want us to explore, we can do that too. And anything else you want to share about the theme, DoveLight?
Oh, well, I generally love hypnosis because allowing yourself time to feel so relaxed and safe, it really start building that confidence and trust within your human personality, conscious self, and your subconscious. It really helps a lot. Just practicing having safe space to just relax. Huge opener for the subconscious, for the positive or negative pattern, huge opening. Something that Anissa was doing, that she was drawing things, it reminded me of this exercise that you can choose words, random words, so you can get flashcards of anything, or perhaps consciously choose words related to whatever you're working on, and you just can put an image of a woman or put the word woman, relationships, things like that, and then you just write the first thing they come up about it, because that also is the archetype. The symbol is also, it's a good way to get to the subconscious. For example, if we put the picture of a dog, for me that will mean something else, loyalty and this and that. For other people might be fear or scary. For other people might be too much work or stressful. For other people might be fun. So a safe and a very easy way to navigate or get information from your subconscious is also through symbols or through simple words, just words,
Yep, thank you. Yeah, and I'm open if we, at some point if we feel like we're feeling done on the topic and coming to a close, we can close out. Just want to give everyone a chance if there's something else here that you want to say or ask. Well, I've appreciated this conversation very, very much. A lot of richness. about this and all kinds of related topics. Been really good today. All right, well, maybe let's go ahead and we will close up. Let me get everyone's information in the chat again. I'll just post everyone and say something about our upcoming events too. We have our online events coming up. We have a fair coming up on Sunday, the 28th. From 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. It is free. We have 21 practitioners scheduled to be there. I got to create the schedule of all the talks. Tuesday, June 13, we have a panel on self-love and self-acceptance. Thursday, June 15, we have Ask Your Angels and Guides. And sneezes are also our subconscious talking there. That might have been the self-love and self-acceptance tickle. And then Saturday, June 17, we have Start Grow Your Intuitive Business. Lisa and I have our drop-in event. And we got tons more going on. And then in person, we'll be in Portland, June 3, 4. And actually June 2, we're starting to expand into Friday. And then Linwood is June 10, 11. And we also have events on the 9th on Friday. And then we'll be in Anacortes, July 8 and 9. That's north of Seattle. All right, well, let's see. So yes, thank you, DoveLight. All right. Oh, Angie, go ahead. And then we'll all go around. Go ahead.
I just really want to address what Christina was saying, because she is right. She is correct. We have kept this on a light topic on the subconscious, but when we have a hurt in our life and we don't deal with it, we start creating with it. And until we can shine a light on it and release it, because until that energy of what happened in the very beginning, that traumatic event is released, we are going to continue to create with it. And by us shining a light on it and understanding that there was a vibrational alignment that happened in that trauma, and it is not a fault that was meant by either, by the child or whatever the trauma was. There was a vibrational match that was happening. People around you were all involved they were not supported. All of those things have to come into light for you to be able to release this traumatic event so that you can have that radical perception shift and you can start creating for what you believe yourself to be today, now, present moment. So that is very important that gets addressed. You are correct. And so I just wanted to say that it's not just like heart and subconscious going in there, pulling out this traumatic event, shining a light on it, understanding it and releasing it is incredibly important for that perception shift to take place, for you to create in the now of who you are. So I just really wanted to kind of tack onto that, because you're right, that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, thanks so much for bringing me back there. Say like those who are traumatized often re-traumatize other people, or how like if we've experienced growing up with a narcissist, we often then choose narcissists to date or to work for, or as tenants in our rental homes, and like all kinds of different things. I did that one. That's why I threw that one in there. But yeah, we create situations where we get re-traumatized by people with similar patterns. So our subconscious leads us to do all those things. Generally, say the things that don't go the way we believe we want them to go, it's usually where our subconscious and the parts that challenge us are in the way. It could be that we're wanting something that's not a natural fit for us, and that's why it doesn't work. And it could be we believe we don't deserve it, and all kinds of different things. Yeah. DoveLight has something, and then back to Christina.
I would love to stress that it is very important to allow yourself to be in a safe space or a compassionate place with support that you genuinely trust, because you have to, if it resonates with you, you have to understand that one of the reasons why you keep creating from that traumatic energy vibration point of view is because you are protecting yourself. You are protecting yourself by holding it down. You might be protecting yourself because you are not allowed, you cannot see it. You will be re-traumatizing yourself. Or maybe your own mind is blocking it because, but you can feel it, but you don't want to feel it. So, okay, for it is something negative and it's something that needs to be released, but you have to understand that there is a part who is doing it out of love. You see, it's protecting you in a way that it's not for our highest good anymore, but it is out of love. So this is why it's very important to acknowledge that please be willing. If you don't know how to be compassionate to yourself. If you forgot or you just don't know, sometimes we don't know how to be good to ourselves. Be willing and be open to try to do. I know you don't like the word try, but even trying is better than nothing. And there is no rush, there is no deadline, there is no I'm going to finally pass through this event and be happy forever. It's happy in the moment, it's peaceful in the moment. It's not a forever state, because we go through ups and downs every day, every moment in our life even. So it's very important to be willing to love yourself enough to see yourself as worthy of your own love, and to be willing to start remembering how to have a vision of a more healthier version of yourself. So I just wanted to honor that, because shadow work and subconscious work can be very traumatic, but at the same time, there is a reason why it was stuck in the first place, and it was to preserve ourselves. And I'm not saying that we want to be stuck, but it is very important to be gentle, or to remember how to be gentle, because there is no diagonal or wrong. Everybody's different. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Christina.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I thought we was wrapping this up, but one thing that came to me that I think someone might have mentioned symbolism, but I can't remember for sure. But I just wanted to touch on that. I know many speak on like the universe will talk to you through symbolism or numbers or colors, da, da, da. Your subconscious does the same thing. So sometimes when you think that you're seeing certain numbers or you're seeing certain animals, it has to do with the universe trying to talk to you. It could be your subconscious trying to get your attention, because obviously deep down that foundational data system knows what's supposed to resonate with you. So obviously you have to use discernment and your intuition when you encounter these things, but once again, speaks to you through your meditations, speaks to you through your dreams, but it could be certain symbolism that is popping up around you because the subconscious wants to make you aware to some things.
When I say subconscious, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. When I say subconscious, and I mean in universal, the universe and the vibration, it's all kind of one and the same, because the subconscious is used in this universe, in this experience, in the law of attraction. It's all just law. And so it's kind of one and the same in the way it's being used. It's all given to us to have this massive, powerful experience here, and to be able to understand it and navigate and begin to use it intentionally. So I kind of, it's all within this experience that we have. So when I say the universe, we call God, we can call it the universal love, light, whatever you want to call it, it's all within that experience, because this is our spirit. This is the way that we were brought in to navigate this whole thing. So I kind of, that's what I mean by that. I don't mean, anyways, I said what I said. To reiterate.
Would we say that our subconscious, or if you want to respond to that specifically, go ahead.
No,
also, you were talking about synchronicity. That's what you're saying. Synchronicity is what you're saying. The numbers, the animals, the things that keep popping out in front of you. It's your subconscious, your universe. You're creating with your subconscious. It's your law of attractions coming out. Your essence, an interpretation of what you're feeling, what you're seeing. It's all one. And so that synchronicity is going to show in front of you so that you can be interactive with yourself, and you can create with this interaction. And it's reminding you that you are powerful. You are the God of this reality. You are creating worlds around you in your own perception. And that's what that is doing.
Okay, but I'm specifically speaking on knowing the difference between it's your subconscious or the overall universe speaking to you. So once again, use the discernment, use your intuition to figure out what is speaking to you and why it's speaking to you. For example, I actually had a reading with DoveLight, and probably a year ago, I had this symbol come to me in a dream. Once again, thought it was the universe, giving me a symbol. But later on, I found out a few months ago, I had a reading with DoveLight, and I have Zulu ancestry. And once we confirmed the Zulu, and I showed her an oracle card from this African goddess deck that I had, because she was talking about this symbolism that she saw, and they matched. And this goddess was also a Zulu religion goddess. And when I saw the design, and then I went back, a few days later, and I'm like, the way that the design of the symbol looked familiar. Look back, it was the symbolism that I got a year before that I was supposed to be using for protection, that obviously resonated with my subconscious because it was an ancestral thing. So that's what I'm saying, like symbolism and stuff that pop up to you, sometimes it's not the cosmos speaking to you. It was my ancestors letting me know that that resonates with me because that's in my subconscious, because it's ancestral. So that's what I'm speaking on.
Great. Yeah, DoveLight.
Oh, thank you so much for being open to share that example, if that's okay with you. I mean, that was amazing because I have no idea what it was, this lineage about, where this your grandfather came specifically, this symbol who looks like a 4. It's like an A on this side. It's like a 4. And after, without not putting too much information, it was the next day that she showed me the card. And it was like the 3 of the 4. It was the same symbol. How on earth? I don't know this lady will get that symbol from. It's because of the universe, because subconscious, because of her. So it does have a specific meaning for her. And that's how the subconscious works. You have to trust it. You have to trust your belief, your energy. So yeah, thank you for sharing that example. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, examples of our language and the languaging that we know, like say used a common phrase of how on earth. I say it's off earth, right? That's part of why it's how it showed up. It's here on earth, but it's also not here on earth. Oh. So is the last few shares I was just playing with, and I don't, there's something about like the subconscious being like more open to all that is. Right. So our conscious awareness, we definitely have all kinds of walls and barriers and blocks and all sorts of things. So like, is our subconscious, I know I have a particular pattern of all kinds of things in my subconscious. So I'm not saying it is everything, but it seems like it's more open to everything, more open to be influenced by all kinds of things. Like my subconscious has more access to all kinds of universal and to spirit than my conscious mind, certainly. I think that is it.
I believe we bring in, oh, sorry, I'm so sorry, Laura.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I believe if we bring in the universal consciousness, we come in, we have a stream of consciousness that never stops. Just because we have this physical death, our consciousness is not dying. But we bring that in, and through our subconscious is able to tap into all of that consciousness. And so our ancestors, earth energy, all of that, that's vibration. And when we resonate with the vibration, we're able to bring it in. But that's all still subconscious and universe. It's intuition, it's all of it kind of brought in into the subconscious through the vibration and resonance. Sorry, Laureli, I did not mean to interrupt
No,
you.
you didn't. It's okay. We're just getting more conversational. At DoveLight, I didn't know if anyone else was wanting to speak that just didn't have their hand up though. Was anyone else?
Oh yeah.
I know if Christina
Thank
want to
you.
go.
I mean, yeah. Regarding it's again, we're playing with duality in planet Earth. Again, day, night, water, fire, things. It's just that because they keep telling me that subconscious, it's a part of the dimensions, a part of the reality, a part of a way to express yourself and understand yourself. Of course, the cells in your body are connected to your system to your field, your field to yourself, and yourself to your family, to your community, the community to the world, the world to the galaxy to the universe. We are one, but because it will be too overwhelming, that's why we also have our illusion of individuality. So this is why when we're talking about the conscious, we can perceive it from our own universe or own being, and we can at the same time tap into the whole energy and the whole information of the infinity. So we're playing with both, and I feel it's respectful and honorable to understand that at the end of the day, when you heal yourself, when you explore yourself, when you have the courage to see your own shadows in your mind, you are affecting the world, you're affecting the universe, you are affecting the field. But I understand. So both, so it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, it can be overwhelming to have too much love of everything. So that's what it's important to go at our own time and our own way, how much we can take at the moment. And I feel like the subconscious has this intelligence. It generally feel that the specific portion of the subconscious has this intelligence. They know how much are you able to navigate at this moment. So yeah.
And I guess I'd say our subconscious has so much awareness of what our conscious is, and that, like, in that way of protecting us, what what our whole being can be with and what not. Right. So the subconscious is holding that really big meta perspective of all of us, all of ourself. Yeah. Just doesn't really make mistakes. All right. Anything else, anyone, before go ahead, DoveLight.
I'm sorry, because they said it out loud. They telling me that please understand that do not analyze so much the subconscious, because we are going to, not only to you, I'm saying to the public and to myself and to whoever it's meant to hear it, because they keep telling me the heart field. Don't forget about the heart field. So it is, we have to understand that we are multiple dimensional beings. We feel, we can touch, we can see, we can breathe. So if we get too caught up into the analyzation and the mind and this and that and all that, it's almost like we're leaving our own body, and we need to go back to be rooted, to be grounded, to feel our bonds. Because again, it is love is the most important and the most beautiful energy that's holding us right now together, that it's holding ourselves, that is holding, who's moving the planets, who's moving the universe. And even though we are giving this gift of being able to use our amazing minds, we also have to merge it with love. So it is very important to allow yourself to feel, to breathe, and to be present with this sense of love and compassion when we're working with the subconscious, but do not go to the stream of analyzing to the point, to the mind, when we get separate or disassociated from our own body. So please, if you can breathe and feel love, they're telling me, you will start accessing the subconscious faster, even in a, not a faster because it's better, but in a more accessible way. So, and again, I know it sounds cliche, but that's what they're telling me. If you allow yourself to feel love in your heart or practice, it will keep you in a flow path. They're showing me like a tunnel to get more, with more clarity to your subconscious, because now your subconscious say, I feel this person is relaxed. She's generally being in her body. She's allowing to be herself. Okay, let me open up a little bit more, you know? I just wanted to honor it. Now I'm completed.
Great. All the messages coming in for us, through us, for us, through us. It's great. All right, so go ahead.
Can I ask a question? This is Zoe.
Oh, Zoe, sorry, we're just getting ready to finish up. But thank you.
No,
Hold on. And if you stay on after we finish up, then we might be able to chat with you for a moment. All right. Hold on.
All right.
All right, great, everyone. Yeah, Aylin, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank all of you. I need to sign out now.
Oh, Aylin, we're just going to close up right now. So let's have you sign out first. So if you could just share, who you are, what you do, and how people can reach you, and I'll put your information in the chat. And that's really what we're doing next.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for all your insights. My name is Aylin Llona. My website is releasingjoy.com. I do intuitive body work, coaching, grief coaching, and energy work. I work with the chakras, the etheric and astral bodies to help clients find their true self and true path.
And if you want to make up a special right now for anyone that's here or that watches the video all the way to the end, feel free.
Sure, yeah. If you, on my website, there's an option for a 75-minute remote session. I'm happy to offer that at 20% off.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Thanks, Aylin, for being here. All right. Who else wants to check out today? Share who you are. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
Great.
My name is Christina. I'm the owner of Crystal Quartz Metaphysical Shop. One thing I haven't mentioned is that I am not on the West Coast. I am on the East Coast. I am in Pittsburgh, PA. So I am running a special for 15% off, a 60-minute multidimensional soul intuitive reading, or a 45-minute cosmic consult. Of course, those things can be done online, remotely from your comfort of your own home. Yeah, that's basically it. Oh, KristaQuartz.com is my website, KrystaQuartz.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram under Krista Quartz also.
Great. Thank you so much. And the code there is right in the chat. All right. Who else wants to go? Angie, Anissa, or DoveLight? Angie.
I'm Angie for Universal Restorative Energy, and I am a law of attraction coach and a spirit energy guide. And I love that we have a chance for everyone to see the different perspectives of us all, because if you resonate with any one of us, the reason we're all so different and we come at it at a different way is because there are so many different people in the world. So if you resonate with any of us and the way that we look at the world, then that's kind of the person you're supposed to go to. So I love these platforms that gives you a chance to resonate with who you resonate with. But I love to help people understand how they're creating in their law of attraction and find the blocks that they have. And I love a lot of us don't even understand the power because they've never tapped into it. So one thing I'm really passionate about is initiating people into their white light vortex of power, because the minute they can start feeling this power around them, things start to make sense and they start to feel their energy and their power, and they start to create with it, listen to intuition through it. It's quite amazing. So I really love to do that as well. I'm offering 20 minutes of free consults with this, and I believe that's it. You can Google me on Universal Restorative Energy. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. All right, Anissa or DoveLight.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Anissa Jade. I do intuitive imagery readings, and I can be found at AnissaJade.com. ANISSAJADE.com. Thank you.
Great. And your special are readings by donation.
Oh, yep.
Great. Thank you. DoveLight.
Hello, everybody. Hello and good night. No, I'm just kidding. I do have a coupon. It's called Spring for 20% off any reading session of choice. I'm in love with working with the divine, we're working with spirit, and at the same time coming back to our bodies and being grounded. So it will be my honor and blessings to be a guide and a channel for divine insight in whatever field you wish to know at this moment. I feel like I love tarot because of the symbology. It helps me to get to the subconscious, to the soul, to the Akashic record, to the field. I just love symbols and archetypes too, as well, from the tarot and the art, basically. You can also use it for a 20% session of choice. You can do a past life regression, ancestral healing. We can bring up a light of your soul. We can do boggle extraction. We can do compassionate clearing course. We can do shamanic work. We can work with the angels. You can check my website, DoveLightOracle.com, to see my more description about each session. But I will be so grateful to guide you into your healing process if you feel called to. Yeah, that's it. So good night, everybody.
Good night, DoveLight. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your soul, your purpose, your path, and any topic you want to explore. And I help you find soulmates. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com, matchmakingsoulmates.com. I have all kinds of different drop-in events that are by donation the first time. You're welcome to come free if you've been here at this panel to the matchmaking and dating one. So some of my matchmaking dating drop-in events coming up are Tuesday, May 23, Saturday, May 27, and Monday, May 29. I usually have 7 to 9 or so of them scheduled a month. I have a package where you can, for just 120 or 96 for BIPOC folks, as a step of making reparations, you can come to as many as you want for 3 months. So I can support you in the journey of finding a soulmate or finding a much better partner to date, whatever you'd like to do. And then with Lisa, I've been doing drop-in Start or Grow Your Intuitive Business mentoring and coaching sessions. And our next one is Saturday, June 17. It's been great being here with all of you. Thank you so much for exploring this lovely topic together, lovely relevant topic that we have never explored before. This has been really great. You can find out more about just hold on, Zoe. We could find out more about all of our MeWe events at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks so much, panelists. It's great being together.